Hi guys, I am picking up at chapter 47 and going all the way through chapter 58. 47 basically picks up where Amy is basically just now getting over the rape that she went through during the season, which I consider it rape. What happened to her, it was definitely very terrible, and I was basically screaming like, Harley, come help her, the whole time during that scene. So Amy in 47 is basically commenting about how, the people in the fear level are animals, and she's definitely right. I agree with that. She's basically like showering over and over again, trying to wash that memory off of her, which I would be doing the same thing. And then she goes and sees the doctor in the hospital ward. At that point, she's basically going to tell the doctor about what happened, and she sees the woman there who is in the stirrups. And this I thought was really gross. Pregnant is like, this is normal. It's fine. It's okay for you to see me naked in stirrups. And also wanted to comment about the middle of page 253, the status hormone levels optimal, genetic likelihood of physical deformities medium, genetic likelihood of mental deformities medium high, incestuous influence on genetic sequence high. And then the doctor's like, you're pregnant. It's like, congratulations, but the baby is handicapped. He, pumps her up with some type of DNA or something that makes the DNA normal. I thought that was very disturbing. This is where we're back to Elder, and Orion basically has access, or we learn he has access to everything, almost like Elder and Eldest would. And it says basically to Elder, what do you know? What do you know about me, essentially? And it's almost in a threatening way. I do not like Orion. Moving on to chapter 49, basically Amy is locking herself in her room. I would do the same thing after what she went through, and she talks to Harley and said, did you see those men yesterday? That wasn't normal, and I don't think it's normal either. Definitely, obviously we don't think it's normal, but people of the ship think it's normal. And this is where Harley basically explains to Amy about Kaylee, his girlfriend, who committed suicide because she couldn't stand being entrapped in the ship. And that's something that I would think would happen more often in the ship to the crazy people, even though the crazy people are the normal people. I would think that more people would commit suicide, and I think maybe that's why they are in the hospital so often. More because of the fact that, they are normal, so I don't know. I really like how the normal people are considered the crazy people. I thought that was a really cool concept. So moving on from there, Elder comes in basically and goes into Amy's room, and Amy starts drinking the water at this point. And Elder tells her that she might want to lay off the water a little bit. He knows about what's in the water at this point. And for a moment, Elder has a thought. Maybe Harley could be the killer, and he's like, no, it couldn't be. That's my friend. I've known him for a long time. It couldn't be. So going into chapter 51, basically, back to Amy, and the boys, Harley and Elder, have a announcement in their YCOM saying to come to the great room, and it's pretty urgent and whatnot, and they end up taking Amy with them up to the great room, and They're on the keeper level basically at this point, up into the great room. And going into 52, Elder's talking about how he wants to kiss her and everything like that. A lot of people thought that it was pretty cheesy about how Elder felt with Amy, but I think it's very realistic, because there's no one on the ship really that is his age, so it's kind of like an automatic thing, in my opinion, that he would like her. I know if I was on a ship and I found someone who was my age, I would be like, oh my god, I love you because you're my age. And not only that, I mean, she's different in terms of how she looks. I'm sure she looks beautiful to him. So anyways, in the great room, everyone's up there, and there's a red dot basically indicating that it's 49 years and 264 days away from being at Centauri Earth. And people start to come in and look at the stars, and they're really fascinated by the stars. All the pregnant women are like hugging their pregnant bellies. And then Eldest comes out, and he announces basically that we were due to land in 50 years. And then, at that point, he says, 75 years before we land, 25 more than we thought. Everyone gets quiet. Harley throws a tantrum like I would. Like, what the heck do you mean 25 years? But everyone else is like hugging their babies and, telling their babies, it's okay. We'll make sure that you see the stars, essentially. Our children will see the stars, so that's good enough. And Harley's like, that's not what you promised us. Where's the land? Where's home that you promised us? And that's definitely what I would be feeling. The people of the ship are just nuts. I don't agree with any of them. I think they're all berserk. Now, Amy, on chapter 53, she's talking about how she feels funny. Not funny haha, but funny weird. And she feels like running, but she's saying, what's the point of running? She starts to turn into a drone, and she starts cheering with the rest of the feeders when they cheer, basically at this big assembly. And she asks Elder, why don't you cheer? And he's saying, I don't have anything to cheer about. And they don't have anything to cheer about because they're not going to see land for a very long time. So she basically gets sick, and she really is not paying attention to anything. And even though Eldest is totally evil, she basically smiles at him, and like, that's our leader. Why should I not smile at him? In 54, Elder notices, something's not right with her, and she just kind of like blinks, and I just imagine her kind of just staring, just smiling like everything's okay. He takes her to the doctor, and they give her some medicine. The medicine that you would give the crazy people to make them normal, basically. And she eventually comes to a little bit later on, but Eldest basically says, it's okay, it's good that she's like this, it's for the best. And then we move on to Amy again, and it's basically showing her again how she's saying everything is fine even though it's not, which is completely unlike her. So we know that, obviously the water that she has drinking that Harley gave her and that she's just drinking more of caused this to happen. In 56, Elder leaves Amy with the doctor, and they're not sure if Amy's going to return back to her usual self at this point. The doctor's not sure, and Elder's saying, if she comes back. Skipping some of the stuff here because it's not really, just basically Amy finally like leaps up and she's like, what happened to me, In 57, she's kind of got this weird feeling still, but Elder explains to Amy that the stars in the Great Room are not real, and that Eldest had told everyone that the stars were fake and that they were for the people of the ship so that they would remain calm. Basically, every time people think, yes, we're getting closer to Century Earth, our destination, Eldest, or whoever is the eldest at the time, has to tell the people of the ship that they're actually not. And they use those stars as this tiny little spark of hope to make all the pregnant people during the season have hope that their kids will see the stars. And because of this water that they're drinking, they don't think anything of it. It's just, okay, well, my baby will live to see it, and that's enough for me. So actually the ship is slowed down, and it's been a lot longer than intended. And when this was revealed, I was like, oh my god, are you serious? Amy's going to be on this ship even longer, and all these people, I mean, I don't care about the rest of the people because they're idiots, and I know it's not their fault, but I really don't sympathize for them for some reason, even though it's not their fault. I feel bad for them, but I don't sympathize with them as much as I do Amy and Elder because they're the sane ones. So, anyways, Amy and Elder end up going to the recorder hall because Elder wants to kind of make her feel better. And in there, basically, Amy is recognizing that everything that the ship has about Earth is wrong, like the Gettysburg Address, for example, and Amy's like, that's not actually what happened, and that was about dividing races. That's not what Gettysburg Address is about. And so it's very weird that the ship doesn't have the true history of Earth on it. It's been changed. And I'm wondering who changed it. Was it the eldest or of this particular time frame or another eldest? Anyways, so Amy's upset basically leading into chapter 58, and somewhere in here Amy basically says, we should go protect the cryo chambers, and Amy asks, when was the plague? And Elder says, a long time ago. And Elder's like, it was longer than the eldest before him. And there's like no generations in there of people before the plague. And Amy notices, well, we can start tracing back. It was supposed to have landed 50 years ago. We've only been flying for 250 years. And then she's like, how do you know for sure? If you count how many generations were born after the plague, maybe we'll be able to figure out how long the ship has really been traveling. And then it goes on to say there are no genealogical charts after the plague. Doc told me once that the plague wiped out so many people that they quit making the charts after that. And then Amy's like, the season started after the plague, right? And photography was banned. There's no pictures of the ship from before the plague till now. So Amy points out, okay, something's up with the plague. There's more behind that than what we actually think that there is. So that's basically where we leave off with chapter 58, and my overall general consensus of chapter 47 to 58 is that, one, Eldest is absolutely bonkers, and I can't believe that they carried on this lie for so long. I can believe it now after I've read it, but when I was reading this, I could not believe that they had carried on this lie for so long to these people who have been in space about, we're going to land at this such and such point, but they never were. Time just kept passing. I'm very interested now to read into chapters 58 and 71 with Tori tomorrow to see what happens next. Leave your comments below. Bye!